Hey everybody, welcome back to the ranch. I am April, the Wolf Ranch Girl, and man, I'm trying not to get sick. I've got my green tea here with honey, and I just took some emergency, but got the itchy throat going on, so I'm going to try and get through this without coughing too much. And you guys just send me all the good vibes that I get better. But anyway, today, as promised, we are going to be looking over my results for Frugal February. So let's get started. Okay, so Frugal February is a financial fast that you do in February, and I'm not going to say that I was largely successful with everything, but for a majority of what I wanted to get done or that I wanted to fast from, I did do that. So Canna Campbell from Sugar Mama TV is where I learned about Frugal February from. Now, I don't know if she was the original, if this was her brainchild or not, but that is where I learned Frugal February, and I did it last year and saved almost $800 in 1 month. And I really thought that this year was not going to be a super successful year because I really had gone through and trimmed down all of my subscriptions, and I hadn't turned any of those back on. So I was like, well, there's not really anything that I'm going to save. So I was going to be happy if I was able to save, a couple $100 just from skipping coffees or not eating out or whatnot. And boy, was I wrong. So I saved $600, just over $600 in the month of February. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I'm glad that I did, because I'll have a story for you here in a minute. It's already been used and been very useful. So I'm also going to talk to you about a couple of other ways that I'm saving money, and one of them is on food. So we're going to be talking about these homemade Mandarin oranges right here, and aren't they beautiful? Like, isn't the color just gorgeous? So anyway, I digress. Let us get to Frugal February. Okay, so week 1 of Frugal February. Oh, so let me tell you how Frugal February works, how it works so well. So I have a checking account, and then I have savings account. They're both at the same bank, and I have online access to both of them. So when I save money, instead of being like, oh, I'll write that down and then transfer it like at the end of the week or later, like pretty much immediately, instead of, like I said, just writing it down and doing it later, you proactively transfer that money from your checking account into the savings account. So for instance, if I'm at the drive-thru to get a coffee, for instance, I had a birthday coffee, and I got it for free. So it would normally cost me $1.62 for a coffee, because I get an extra shot of espresso and I use oat milk, not regular milk. So it's a little bit more expensive, but like $8.32 or $8.62 for a coffee. So I had them scan my little birthday ticket coupon. And then while they were making the coffee, I got onto my bank app and took the $8.62 that I normally would have spent and then transferred that into my checking account. So I did that on every one of these savings. So it's really neat, because you really get to see that savings stack up. It works so well because you are actively doing it and taking it out of your checking account. Because if you don't, inevitably that money ends up getting spent on something else instead of being put in your savings account. So I have all of my figures written down, and if you follow me over on Instagram, I'm pointing over there like it's just over there, but you know what I'm talking about. If you follow me on Instagram, then you will have seen my weekly updates, and it goes into detail on what I actually saved on, but I'm going to go ahead and list them off for you here. Gosh, this lighting is terrible. Okay, so I have my notebook right here with everything written down. So week 1, I saved $333.61. So I saved $54.40 on my new chapter subscription cancellation. So new chapter vitamins are the vitamins that I take. They are fermented food vitamins, so they're not chemical vitamins. They're all derived from food, and I don't have any problems digesting them. They don't give me heartburn. They don't give me headaches or anything like that some of the just regular big box store vitamins were starting to give me. So I really like them, and I didn't even remember that I had a subscription. So the day that I was, telling you guys about Frugal February, I actually got an email about the subscription. So I went on there and I checked, and sure enough, I still had a subscription there. So I canceled it straight away, and that was $54.40. Then I got a text message from Curology that said my Curology was going to ship in 2 days. Well, I still have 2 bottles in my drawer because I don't use the Curology every single day. Like if my skin starts getting dry or irritated, which happens sometimes, then I'll skip for a few days, and I never do it on Sunday. So I still had plenty. So I didn't cancel the Curology subscription, but I did skip it. So you can skip for 1, 2, or 3 months. So I skipped the month, and that saved $39.90. Then I was like, man, what other subscriptions do I still have, but I don't remember, which makes me feel really bad, like I'm irresponsible, but I'm not. I mean, it just happens. It's easy. And I went on to Amazon, and my subscription for Amazon Prime was getting ready to renew, and it used to just be $99, and then it went up to $119, and then this year, the subscription is up to $130 something, like $132. And I'm like, what is the deal with everything going up if they're not adding anything? So they did add more music to the Amazon Music subscription that is within the Prime subscription. So I went on and looked at that. I called my husband, and I was like, hey, do you care if we try canceling the Amazon Music Unlimited? And he said, sure. Because really the unlimited is nice, because if I'm in here, or if I am doing something and I'm listening to music on my earphones or on my earbuds, or here with the Alexa, with my Amazon device here, and my husband is out mowing or he's out doing something else, with the Amazon Music Unlimited, we can each have different playlists, and we can be playing them simultaneously. If you don't have the unlimited, then only one person can utilize Amazon Music at any given time. But if I'm listening to something, I'm usually listening to a YouTube channel. So I don't listen to music near as much as my husband does. So if he's listening to it, if there's an off chance that I'm trying to listen to something at the same time that he's trying to listen to something, then I'll just not do it, and he can listen to it, and I'll put on something else. Excuse me. Anyway, that was $89 for that subscription. So right there, almost $100 in that one subscription. And then the next subscription, I went on to my PayPal, and you can look in your PayPal and see anything that is authorized to bill your PayPal. So I went through everything there, and in March, so that now it is March, so this month, I had a Augustin fitness subscription. I got it not this past Thanksgiving, but the Thanksgiving before, when it was half price, or more than half price. I think it was like $20 for a 6-month subscription. And he's really great. Like, he's super inspiring. He does a lot of, beginner workouts or recovery workouts. So I really liked him and wanted to support him. And then also, he lost his sister from cancer during my subscription time. So I felt terrible about canceling the subscription, but I'm like, if I am not going to consistently utilize free items to work out, then I'm not going to pay for anything. So like, I'm not letting myself buy any more equipment. I'm not letting myself buy any more clothing or any subscriptions or anything until I utilize the abundance of workouts that are available on YouTube for free. Until I can start seeing that I'm consistent with that, then I'll look at doing a subscription. So I canceled that, and that was $59.99. So $60 right there. I also went on to Audible because I got a notification that I had another credit available, and the credits are like $7.99. So I went and looked at my Audible library, and I have like 5 things that I haven't finished listening to yet. 4 of them I haven't even started. So I canceled that subscription, because if you cancel the subscription, you still have everything that you've purchased. You just don't get new ones. And if I need another one, then I'll just go ahead and turn it back on, or purchase the individual credits that you need. So that was $17. I had the birthday coffee, and I skipped a coffee. And then also I saved $65 at Wayfair. So I had purchased this was back like in November, I think. I had purchased this just crazy soft comforter. Like, you just feel like you're wrapped in a hug. But it would not stay on our bed. Like, it would be on the floor every night. I mean, it was wonderful, but it just wouldn't stay on the bed. So I didn't want to get rid of it. So I actually asked our home ec teacher at the high school if she could split it down the middle, because it was king size, and make 2 throws, because it's beautiful. And so she did. So now we have, actually my son has taken one into his room. So one is in his room and one is in the family room. So I needed a new quilt for my bed, and I knew I was going to get one anyway. So I went on to Wayfair. I found just a simple quilted gray that I really liked, and went to purchase it. And when I went to purchase it, it popped up and asked if I wanted to use my credit. So I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I clicked on it, and turns out that I had built up credit points from previous purchases, and I didn't even know about it. So that was worth $65. So I ended up getting our whole oversized queen quilt set with pillowcases and everything for $13. So that was huge savings. So that was week 1. And that was $333.61. Then I went into week 2, and I knew that there's no possible way that I would, save that much again. And I didn't. But I still saved $145, which I couldn't believe. So I wanted to get a new phone, which I'm using right now, because the cameras were better. I had had my phone for over 2 years with the same case and everything. So I wanted to upgrade my phone. So I did, and I got the new Samsung S23 Ultra, which is a mixture of the S23 and the Note Ultra. So I still have the pen and everything, but the cameras are way better. So because we have been a customer for quite some time, I asked if they would waive the $35 activation fee, and they said yes. So I saved that. And then also, we were going over my bills, and I just said, the person asked, is there anything else I can help you with? And I said, well, would you review the bill and find out if there's any discounts? I have a wayward curl here, that we're eligible for that I didn't know about. And so I found out that just by moving to auto pay every month, that's $100 savings per month. So really, I could have written that down as $1,100, but I only put down what I saved in February. So that was $100 a month just by doing auto pay. So I definitely did that. And then I saved $10 on not eating out. So that was $145 in week 2. Week 3, $70.95. So I'm consistently going down, which is what I expected. So not renewing Malwarebytes. So I did on my old phone, I got a virus from clicking on a text message. So I had to get Malwarebytes to clean the virus off. And so I did a free trial of it for a month. and everything's been working fine, and now I know what to look for. So I went ahead and did not renew that or go forward with that subscription. So that saved like 30 something dollars. Excuse me. And then also I saved, it was like 40 something dollars, I think. And then I saved 30 something dollars by making the chocolate dipped strawberry. Chocolate dipped strawberries for Valentine's Day. I made them homemade instead of buying them. So that was good. And then week 4, which would have been last week, was my birthday week. And that's when I got the free coffee. And actually I got 3 free coffees because we have a Starbucks here. I got a gift card for coffee can. And then I got a free birthday drink from Scooters. So I saved $20 right there, and then the rest of it was just not eating out. So over $600, just over $600 saved in a month. And I'll tell you what, like, God works in mysterious ways. Went to Chicago for the Chicago Auto Show. This is something that my husband and the 2 older boys had done prior to everything shutting down. And then there were very strict policies last year, so they did not end up going last year. But they wanted to go again this year. So Mark and I decided December, January, that's what we would do for Valentine's Days. We would take a trip up to Chicago and stay the weekend and take the boys to the Chicago Auto Show. So it was the first time that I had ever been. And I'm not a car person. When it comes to vehicles, I'm a very utility person. So we live on a farm. I will probably never have like a sedan or just a car or anything because we live on the ranch. So I need something that I'm not going to be devastated if somebody scratches it with something, or if we have to use it to drive across the field to get an animal or something like that. So excuse me, I love my Expedition. It fits all of us. It meets every need that I have, and I hope that it never dies, but it is getting up there. So it was nice to be able to look at similar vehicles from the different makes and models. And, you know, I really like the Wagoneer XL. If I had a choice and didn't have to have a car payment, then I would do the Wagoneer XL as my next vehicle. But I'm still hoping that old Bertha is going to stay with us for quite some time. But anyway, I digress. So we had a great time there. We took the train up, went to the auto show, went out to Giordano's, a famous pizza parlor there, went back to the hotel, got up early the next morning, went to the train station, and missed our train. We missed our train home. And I thought, oh, well, that's not a big deal. We'll just get the next one because there's like 3 routes between Chicago and Springfield each day or each weekend. Well, apparently, just because I don't take the train very often does not mean that everybody else doesn't take the train, because everything was booked. Like everything. We were looking at not even being able to get home until Tuesday. So that was very stressful for a few hours. So we ended up staying another night, and I kid you not, the amount of money for the upgrade in tickets. So they did refund us our tickets because we were there in the train station and at the correct gate. But me not being a very savvy train traveler, I just assumed that the time on the ticket was the boarding time instead of the departure time, and that is not the case. So if you ever take a train, the time that is printed on your ticket is the departure time. So you need to be there well before then. So anyway, we were able to get a train. The next day we had to sit separate. 2 of us had to sit separate, and then 3 of us sat together separately, away from the other 2, which the boys thought that was a big adventure. So it ended up being fine. But so we did end up having to stay there that Sunday. So we got tickets to the Field Museum, which if you're ever in Chicago, that is a really awesome place. And we probably spent 4.5 hours there. It was crazy. It was huge. They had the neatest things in there. And then we, of course, had to eat out again. So that was another $100. So it was $110 for the tickets for 5 of us to the Field Museum. It was another $100 for us to eat breakfast. And then the hotel was like $160. And then the train tickets were another 200 something. So everything ended up being like right at $625, which is pretty much exactly what I saved this month. So that that was awesome. So whenever we travel, I always try and have the amount of money that we spent. So if we spend $600 on the trip initially, I try to have $600 in savings for that, just in case, just as a cushion, just in case. And I did have that with this because that's about how much it costs with the tickets and everything. So I had that money in there. But then all of my savings from February replenished that. So that's really awesome. So that was kind of a crazy adventure. Anyway, it was good. And the kids were not upset that we were there for longer because we did have a good time. So everything worked out the way it was supposed to. Definitely learned some things about train travel and whatnot. But yes, a good rule of thumb is however much money you were planning to spend, have that much money in savings as well. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the amount of money that I saved on Mandarin oranges. This is crazy. So Mark and I went to Sam's over the weekend, and I just happened to see, I think on Instagram, I was just scrolling and it was like through Healthy Living or something like that. And they were talking about utilizing food before it went bad. And it was just a quick little snippet of peeling the Mandarin oranges, canning them, and then using the peels to make cleaner. So you just soak it in vinegar for 2 weeks, and then the vinegar smells like oranges instead of smelling like vinegar. And vinegar is a really great household cleaner. So we went to Sam's and they had the little cuties on sale. Or I don't even know if they were on sale because I haven't gone to Sam's in a long time, but they were $6.98 a bag. So we got a case of them. And I'm like, oh, this will be great. And that's what we did last night. If you follow me on Instagram, I did post a picture of it. So we peeled and separated a case of Mandarin oranges. So we had all 3 of the boys and one of the older boys' girlfriends, and we just sat after dinner and peeled everything. It probably took about 30 minutes for all of us to peel everything, so it wasn't bad. And then we made syrup with our honey. So we did 6 cups of water and 1 to 1.5 cups of honey to make the syrup. So we already had the jars and the lids and everything. So we just filled the quarts with the oranges and the syrup. And then, of course, you clean the rim, put the lid on, put the ring on and you twist it until it's finger tight. And then you put it in the water bath canner for 10 minutes. So you put ours can hold 7 or 8 jars at a time. Put them in there, make sure that the water is covering it for 2 inches over the top of the jar. And then you let the water start boiling. Once it is boiling, then you start your timer for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes are up, then you just turn off the heat, take the lid off, and let them sit for 10 minutes before you pull them out. And then you put them onto a towel, and you have to let them sit there and don't move them or anything for 24 hours. So water bath kitting is not very difficult at all. It just takes a little bit of time. And I'll tell you what, we had to make several batches of syrup, but it was all honey from our bees. So that was awesome. So we made 18 quarts. So I will kind of, I'll show you guys. Hold on. See, there's the box still. So they're over there cooling. It hasn't quite been 24 hours yet. So that's what we did last night. And then again, here's one of them here. So I did some calculating today because I thought, man, someone on Facebook made a comment and said, Mandarin oranges are getting so expensive, I was going to have to stop buying them. but I'm going to try this instead. So I explained to her the whole process. And I was like, I wonder how expensive these things are, because it's not something I buy very often. I like them, but we just try not to eat a huge amount of processed foods. So, but I was really excited when I saw that on Instagram and wanted to try it. So this cost us, it was $6.98 a bag, and we got 6 bags. So it cost us $41.88 for all of these oranges. We already had the jars, we already had the tops, and we already had the honey. So that's all it cost us. So then I went online and looked up. So I couldn't find, so 1 quart jar is 32 ounces. I couldn't find 32 ounce jars of mandarin oranges from the store. All I could find was 23.5 ounces. And that was like a Dole jar, I think. So a 23.5 ounce jar was $3.68 at Walmart. So to buy 18 of those jars, it would have cost $66.24. So we saved, from the jars, we saved $24.48, which I think is not bad. Like, to save $25, I'd do this again. Like, it was not that big of a deal. And it wasn't a big deal to, I didn't have to go 100 miles to find the oranges. So it wasn't a big deal at all. So then I was like, if I buy the mandarin oranges, I usually buy the snack packs, like the little half cups that come in like a pack of 4 or 6 or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I wonder how much those are. So I looked those up. So for the lunch packs, they were $2.88 for 4 half cup items. So the little 4-pack. Each of those is half a cup. So that would be a total of 2 cups. So a quart holds 4 cups. So I needed to figure out how much of those would equal a quart. So 2 of those equals 1 quart. So to buy 2 packages of those, it was $5.76. So now we have to take that and multiply it by 18, because that's how many quarts we have. $103.68 it cost for those lunch packs. And then you have, we do not have easily accessible recycling where we live. It's ridiculous. But we really don't. I would probably have to drive 45 minutes to an hour to find a recycling facility, which is stupid. So I try really hard not, to buy too many things, if it's paper or plastic, I'll try and take it to school, because my school does have a recycling program, but I don't want to bring anything that is super messy, and those little cups and everything get super sticky. So, anyway, I try not to buy those. So $103.68 is how much an equivalent of those lunch packs would cost. So I have little silicone or just little lunch containers that I can just open one of these up and divvy this whole thing up into those, so that we can and put them in the fridge, and we can just grab them out, and then they're reusable. So we haven't, added any additional garbage or anything like that, and everything else can be reused. So we saved $61.92 between making these ourselves and buying them. That's a heck of a savings. Now, if I was being, really frugal, then I could take that $61.92 and put it in my savings account, because now I have all of this food and I don't have to buy anything. So that's just another way. If you don't preserve food, and I didn't grow these oranges, so you can still preserve food for yourself and your family to save money and just for preparedness without having grown it yourself. So I'm really glad that we did try this. And I definitely think that we will try it again, and maybe even look into some other things. Like, we've already done peaches and we've already done apples, but for some reason I didn't think about using them for lunch. So I definitely need to wrap my head around that. So anyway, excuse my coughing. Hopefully next week when I see you, I will not have a sore throat or a shallow cough. But yeah, so Frugal February was a great success. if you did Frugal February along with me, but shout out in the comments and let us know how you did. Was it hard? Did you struggle with things, or was it super easy? I was shocked at the amount of subscriptions that I still had. Shocked. Like, I really could not believe it. So I'm glad that I did it, and I'm super, happy that I did it because of the Chicago fiasco, and I definitely will be looking at doing it again. And next up is Manifesting March, and that is where you just pretty much work your tail off to find as much money as you can. Selling items, unused clothes items, selling products. My plan is to put out at least 4 new products in my Teachers Pay Teacher store to help produce income that way. Selling eggs, maybe selling some baked goods or something like that. So that's going to be my Manifesting March. I'm not expecting to make a huge amount of money, but every little bit helps. And then our next video, I believe, is going to be 6 months worth of empties and what I have learned from them. So if you liked the video and found value in it, then please give me a thumbs up and click and subscribe if you'd like to get notifications on when I post new videos, which hopefully is every Thursday, but definitely once a week. That is my goal, and I have been living up to my own expectation since the first week of January this year. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a great night. Take care of yourself. Go take some extra vitamin C, get some rest, hydrate, 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 and I'll see you right back here next week. Laters, everyone.